are about to start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heal and Learn, and welcome to everybody listening on the Grow and Learn podcast. If you're listening later, I encourage you to go to Heal and Learn and watch the video, because today we're going to be showing some pretty cool things. Today, I'm having again Tom Paladino, Scalar Light researcher. Just to remind you, in the previous two interviews with Tom, we talked about people in India being healed from HIV, proven by what are these tests called? I forgot the ones
PCR.
that were used. PCR tests. Then we talked about a program in Tanzania. Actually, Tom is sponsoring this program. A portion of the revenues that he's making through his program with Scalar Light goes to buying goats and thus improving the livelihoods of villagers in Tanzania. So also go and watch this video. But today we find ourselves in, or at least he finds himself, Tom Paladino finds himself in his own lab, and he's going to show us around. Hi, Tom, welcome.
And it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Serena. Thank you.
Good to have you. So, Tom, you warned me that your computer might be having some interruptions because of the Scalar Light instruments that are around.
Yes, yeah. I'm in my laboratory right now. Behind me are some of the scalar energy instruments that I use. And I want to make sure my voice is clear enough. Many times there's so much scalar energy that comes off the instruments that it will, if you will, adversely affect my computer. But if you can hear me okay, then let's move forward. So
I can hear you okay, yes.
Okay, without further ado, these are scalar energy instruments that I'm working with. I am a scalar energy researcher. These are custom built instruments. And in so doing, I access an energy dimension that's outside of the electromagnetic dimension. I don't work with electricity. So these scalar energy instruments allow me access to the quantum realm, or to 0-point energy. Now I'm going to show you a few peculiar things that we can do with these instruments, and just how powerful these instruments are.
Are they currently on? I am seeing some lights behind. Are your instruments currently on?
They are. All the instruments are on, and I want to show the audience a live demonstration. Yes. And one of those demonstrations, I'm going to hold in my hand a fluorescent tube. Now this tube is in its factory packaging. Now this instrument is so strong, when I place the instrument, this fluorescent tube will illuminate.
Wow.
And I can feel the surge of energy from my hand enter into my earphone every time I do that. Now keep in mind, we're just working with a package of a fluorescent tube.
I see. So how is this different from the cableless charging stations for phones or for other things?
You're right. So we typically use electricity. In this case, this is a wireless transmission of scalar energy. Now, if I can use this instrument in this capacity and not need any power station, or I don't need wires, then I have solved this energy crisis, where we can deliver energy at a distance and do it all by way of wireless transmission of scalar energy. That's what the future holds for this type of energy. Here's another demonstration. These are fluorescent tubes. Again, when I pass these close to the instrument, they illuminate. So what am I trying to show and demonstrate? I'm trying to show the audience that you don't need an electrical outlet to illuminate a light bulb.
Are the instruments themselves plugged into electricity?
No. These are 100% scalar energy. So this is proving that there's so much energy from a scalar energy instrument that it can power a light bulb, or it can perform other functions. For instance, I perform a scalar energy, if you will, chakra balancing on a person. Now, how do I do that? For instance, if I place a person's photograph inside the scalar energy instrument, and again, we only work with photographs of people, this photograph has my character, my signature. By placing my photograph inside the instrument, my photograph is now being shared, communicating energy through those Tesla coils. It's so strong, that's a chakra balancer, because my photograph is right next to Tesla coils, those 2 Tesla coils. Now, again, to demonstrate, if I were to place this light bulb by those Tesla coils, that's similar to the chakra balancing that I'm receiving. So if this instrument can illuminate light bulbs, then it can illuminate my chakras. It's the same amount of energy going into the light bulbs as a person would receive through this instrumentation through their chakra system.
Is this box also a part of the instrument, or is it just a box where you place the pictures? Or is the instrument only the elongated part?
Everything here is a scalar energy instrument. This is a scalar energy receptacle, 2 Tesla coils, and then I'll try and turn the camera. And that's the scalar energy instrument. This is a vacuum tube and a capacitor. I don't want to get into the design, but this is part of the apparatus. It stretches about 6 feet long on my table. These are very powerful instruments. They're all custom-built scalar energy instruments.
Okay, so are you able to use this scalar energy for your energy consumption in your house?
Not yet, but that's one of my goals. Not yet. I ask God to give me the wisdom so that I can take this energy and to be able to power a motor or some type of if you will, generator. So that's the next step, to be able to illuminate a house, illuminate a building. I'm working on that. I projected within the next 5 years I should have that. I'm experimenting all the time.
Okay,
so you're right. You're right.
When you say it's not plugged in electricity, are none of the parts of these instruments plugged in electricity, or do they require a bit of electricity to start them?
Yeah, this instrument, I'm going to pan once again, and I'm going to point. This instrument starts with an electrical surge, but from there we convert it into scalar energy, and we amplify that energy 1,000-fold. So we start with a little bit of AC electricity, but once the energy is on this now Tesla coil, it's amplified 1,000-fold. And the reason I say that, these Tesla coils can treat anybody in the world through their photograph. One person, or you can treat thousands of people by way of a scalar energy instrument. So it works like a universal satellite.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And so where do you keep your, hundreds of thousands of pictures? Is there another instrument that you have?
Yeah, that's scattered here throughout the laboratory. I'll pan over to the side here, and we'll be able to look at that. Let me explain what I'm doing, and then I'll pan, if you will, the computer. When I take a person's photograph has energy, a signature of scalar energy. Now, only a scalar energy instrument can identify scalar energy signatures. When I place my photograph in this instrument, once again, I'm connected and I'm receiving energy. I'm receiving an impulse from that scalar energy instrument. Now, if I want to communicate and if I want to send the energy, say, of the Epstein-Barr virus, I take a magnified photograph of Epstein-Barr and I place it right next to my photograph. Now, what does this mean? In a scalar energy force field, the 2 photographs, the 2 force fields are communicating. So the energy of Epstein-Barr now enters into my quantum field. It's an informational process. It's not biological. And by sharing that information of Epstein-Barr, that instrument is looking for the Epstein-Barr virus in me. And if it finds that Epstein-Barr virus, it will break down the molecular bonds of Epstein-Barr. So 2 photographs placed in this instrument share with one another that information. And this is how I go about identifying a microbe and then eradicating that microbe.
How long does it take? How long does it take on average to eradicate? Let's say if you have a herpes breakout on your lips, would this disappear? Yeah.
If I were to place that photograph of the Epstein-Barr virus in the instrument in 1 or 2 seconds, the Epstein-Barr virus would break apart. I am working with energy intelligence. So you're not working with a chemical bond, you're telling the intelligence, the information that holds together the Epstein-Barr virus to negate. So it's much easier to work with an informational field than it is with a chemical reaction. Everything I do is non-physical. And that way I can assure the process of identifying the Epstein-Barr virus, if you will, eradicating those informational bonds, those molecular bonds that hold together Epstein-Barr. Within a few seconds, you can shatter the genome of a virus.
Mm-hmm. So that means that it would depend then on the energy level and on the ethereal body, I would suppose on the density, on the frequency of the ethereal body, of how fast it would translate it to the physical body.
Yes,
is that correct?
Correct. That's brilliant. So we're working in the etheric realm, in the realm of non-physical spirit. And when you go to a hospital, God bless them, they're working on a biological plane. I don't work with human biology. This is not a biochemical reaction. This is an etheric reaction. This is a scalar energy reaction. So we work with information only. And it's so much easier. The etheric plane, the scalar energy plane is way above, is transcend the biological physical plane. I'd much rather work with the spiritual plane, the scalar energy plane.
Well, have you tried these instruments in the open air, and have you seen, if you have tried it, have you seen a difference in performance?
I've had these instruments in different geographical settings, and they always work spot on. So regardless of the geographical setting, I can always achieve the results I want to achieve. I'm going to give the audience a few other indications of what we can do. Now, that process works with a virus, but it will also work now with a nutrient. I'm going to hold up a photograph of beta carotene. If I were to place this photograph of beta carotene in the instrument then would decipher, would understand the etheric pattern of beta carotene. And if I place my photograph right next to beta carotene, then I am enjoying a download of information from beta carotene into me. Now, again, this is an informational process. It's not a biological process. But in so doing, I have shown, and people have testified, that this process will allow them to achieve the nutrients that they need for sound health. Now, it's a new process. It's a custom-built instrument, and my protocol is unique. But from the testimonies that I receive from people, people are saying that, yes, that there are significant results and improvement in their nutritional constitution. People feel that this process will allow them to achieve the micronutrients that they need.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed the difference between the speed in which nutrients are absorbed as opposed to the speed in which viruses and bacteria are dissolved?
That's a great question. So these instruments are on 24 hours a day, and the reason being because with a nutrient, you really have to address that as an ongoing 24-hour a day project. So in an instant, you can destroy a microbe, a virus, or a bacterium. But when it comes to nutrients, you should have these instruments on 24 hours a day, because nutrition is needed 24 hours a day. That's the key to my work. So these instruments, and I'm going to pan now, I'm going to show the audience a few of the other instruments. Mm-hmm. These instruments are on 24 hours a day. Those are some of the instruments that I'm showing that allow me to assemble minerals and precious stones, natural foods, endorphins, and neurotransmitters. Now, you could see on the third level from the top, you can see those.
I hear you a bit muffled, Tom.
Okay, how's this? Is that any better?
That's better, yes.
Okay, you can see on that third level from the top, you can see the red folders. Mm-hmm. Those red folders have photographs of people. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people in that red folder. So I am able to work with tens of thousands of people by way of those folders. So you don't visit my laboratory, you simply send me your photograph. And these instruments can work with tens of thousands of people. These instruments can work with millions of people.
Mm-hmm. You have a program still on your website, scalarlight.com, for a 15-day free trial. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Anybody in the world can visit our website, and we'll work with you for free for 15 days, no questions asked. No questions asked. And in so doing, we're able to balance your chakras. We're able to eradicate pathogens. We're able to provide nutrients. So this is just a, if you will, a bird's eye view of my laboratory. I'm going to give the audience another indication as to what we can do. I'm going to hold up to the audience a photograph of gamma endorphin, neurotransmitters, endorphins. Now, I have a program in which we can assemble endorphins and neurotransmitters. Now, everything I do is by way of photograph, so there's no human reasoning. There's no guesswork. There's no human guesswork here. A photograph of gamma endorphin allows the instrument to look at that molecular constitution, look at that molecular geometry, and then, if you will, recreate that molecular geometry inside a person. So if I place my photographs side by side, gamma endorphin, the result is going to be the creation of gamma endorphin in the quantum plane into my photograph. Why do I like what I'm doing? Everything I'm doing involves photographs. These two photographs are communicating, interpreting one another. Gamma endorphin is sending information into me, into my quantum plane. And in so doing, now I can start assembling at the etheric level, at the quantum level, gamma endorphin. Now, the results are stellar. The results are spectacular. People are telling us that they're happy, that by having these gamma endorphins in them, that it elevates their mood, it makes them happy. Well, I would say so. These instruments are operating 24 hours a day. And in so doing, we can, if you will, assemble gamma endorphins in the quantum plane 24 hours a day. So, again, this is the new science of scalar energy at the etheric realm, at the spiritual realm. I don't work with people, I work with force field. Everybody has a force field, everybody has a signature on their photograph. And the real, what I really like about this is people don't have to visit a clinic. It's safe and it's easy. People can send me a photograph or group photographs. I receive group photographs all the time. So this is a new science in which we're transcending time and space. We're not working at a biological level. We're working at a quantum level with information.
How many pictures of different viruses and bacteria and other conditions, do you have anything others? How many pictures do you have on average that you place together with everybody's photographs?
On any given day, I can work with 400,000 photographs of different species of viruses. 400,000 photographs, and each photograph is of a specific pathogen. I'll give you, for instance.
So I'm hearing some disturbance in the sound. Is this from the scalar light?
Yes, it's from the scalar light. Here, let me see if I can nullify that. Hang on. Is that any better?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. There's so much energy coming off this instrument that it will interfere with my headset and my computer. For instance, many times when I have my cell phone close to the instrument, my cell phone will not operate because the scalar energy overrides the electromagnetic force field in my cell phone. Okay. Here's an indication. Here are photographs. These are miniaturized photographs, if you will, of different types of...
Again, I can't hear you very well. When you speak on the side, it's muffled.
These are miniaturized photographs of different species of viruses. And I can take these photographs, thousands of photographs. Now, you don't need a big 8 by 11 sheet of paper of a virus. All you need are small photographs of viruses. And I could place these photographs of viruses inside the instrument, right next to my photograph. So what you have now is a sharing of information of thousands of viruses by way of photograph into my quantum plane. So I want to make this very clear to your audience. This is so simple and straightforward. Once you have this ability, you can take photographs of thousands of viruses and download that, communicate that with an individual instantaneously.
What about some changes in the cells? If these are pictured as well, would this work?
Changes in cells, meaning?
Either genetic mutations or some abnormalities.
I cannot do that. Right now, I cannot do that. I think with greater precision, we can take these instruments and correct the genome. We should be able to correct someday birth defects. Because if you will, this instrument has been calibrated to break apart the genome of a virus. Well, in reverse, we should be able to recreate, or if you will, reprogram the cellular structure, the mitochondrial structure of a human cell. And if we did that, then we would have the direct access to either curing cancer or curing genetic disease. I think that's possible. I cannot do that, but I think that's possible.
Okay, so how does some bacteria are beneficial for the body, right? So how does scalar light recognize the level of bacteria that needs to be present in the body?
Yeah, great question. So when I source for bacteria, here's a photograph of Streptococcus mutans, for instance. This is pathogenic. It's known to cause gingivitis. Now, this is a known pathogen. So I only photograph and I only work with what's considered to be pathogenic in nature. I will not work with probiotic bacteria. There are some bacteria that are advantageous to the microbiome. I simply don't photograph that, and hence I don't include that in these sessions. So this is what I like about my work. I can pinpoint what I want to identify and destroy through a photograph. That's the key to my work. When you're working with light, you have that precision, you have that control.
What I meant is not the type of bacteria, but sometimes the same type of bacteria, when it goes above a certain level, it becomes malicious, right? And before that, it can be advantageous. So how does it know the level?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When I work with the bacteria, I will work with any bacteria that's been considered pathogenic. Okay. So what I suggest with people is just sign up for 30 days. And I'll identify that bacteria, that it might have a dual role, but at least the bacteria has a pathogenic reflection. At least it's been considered to reflect pathogenic disease. And then you can go off the program for a month or two if you think you need a time to rest. You're right, that's a good point. This science is in its infancy. From what I've seen, I've been on this program for years, and I believe it's helped my microbiome. Now, on a given day, I work with myself and I'll identify at least 400,000 species of germs, but this has never compromised my microbiome. And I think one of the reasons is this is not a chemical process. I can't accentuate this enough. When you're working at the etheric realm, non-physical realm, it does not have biological consequences. There is no toxic.
Yes. But yet when you're in the vicinity of it, it actually has a physical energy.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah. I don't know if you can pick this out. I'm going to speak. When I extend my hand to the Tesla coil, I hear in my headset a ringing noise. Now, I've not touched anything, but there's so much energy, it travels through my arm and into my headset. I don't know if you can Very
lightly, I can hear something, yes.
If you can identify that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's quite fascinating.
I have a comment here, which I'm going to read in the chat, in the live chat. Jennifer White says, I tried this. He offered a free trial a long time ago, and I did it. It worked for a good long time. Unfortunately, it came back, but fortunately not as bad. I need to do it again. So glad I saw this. So this means that she tried it, then she stopped after the free trial, and the ailment came back, but not as bad as it was.
That's good. We're making some progress. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And let me say this: the testimonies that we receive are crucial. Why? This is a new science. Nobody's been able to duplicate my results. Nobody has this instrumentation. So the only body of evidence are the testimonies. And this is why on our website we offer 15 days of free session. I want everybody to try this. This is groundbreaking. I am spearheading this movement. Again, nobody has been able to duplicate this process. So we have to have the people speak up. The people must say, yes, does this work? To what extent? And then we move forward from that body of evidence, which are the testimonies.
Yeah. Well, just to back up or to provide yet another testimony from a third person. You had an interview with Lada Duncheva from Astrolada channel recently, and she said, well, she messaged me afterwards. She said, I was about to get sick. Like I felt I was about to get sick. And after she signed up for the Scalar Light, she said it disappeared. Usually I would be sick immediately the next day, but she said, I'm fine. After one day.
Yeah. God bless Lada. She's a believer. She understands this. Now, if what I'm saying is true and accurate, and we could work with millions of people a day by way of these instruments and do so in a harmless fashion, and to be able to pinpoint pathogens, microbes that cause disease and eradicate those pathogens, well, this offers mankind great promise. That's the point of my work. I am a humanitarian. I want to see the world prosper. That's the entire point of my lifelong career, to help mankind. So please tell your friends what we're doing. Sign up for the 15-day free session, and then you make your judgment. It's really going to boil down to a grassroots movement to move this forward.
Wonderful. So everybody head to scalarlight.com and try it out for yourself. And before we finish for today, Tom, just one question. If you were to take aerial photos, real aerial photos of Earth, of a certain area, let's say there's crops growing there or something else, would this be beneficial for the vegetation of the area if you were to place the picture? Yes.
I have friends in Hawaii. We've been working with the ohia tree, OHIA. There's a fungus that's infecting the ohia tree. And after we work with these trees in Hawaii with scalar energy, these trees come back to life. We don't see the blight spreading. So we believe that scalar energy has served to break down, to eradicate this fungus in the ohia tree. And because of that, we see many trees coming back to life or not dying. It was going to be, in my estimation, a runaway blight, because there's no known way that they could stop this blight in Hawaii. So the ohia, they call it rapid ohia death. That blight has stopped from what I can tell. And through the interdiction of what I've done and what my friends have done, we've taken thousands of photographs of ohia trees.
And did you have to place also a photograph of the blight of this particular type?
Yes. The fungus is called ceratocystis. So we take photographs of the ohia tree and we place photographs of ceratocystis, the fungus, right next to it. So we're sharing information on the etheric plane, on the non-physical plane, so that plant fungus, ceratocystis, enters into the quantum plane of the trees, and we're able to stop this blight, this rapid ohia death.
Mm-hmm. Would this work for eradicating other type of pests that is not blight, let's say some crickets or whatever on the crops?
My predecessors worked with insects. I don't work with that right now, but I think there's a way I could work with that. I'm going to stick right now with bacteria, viruses, and fungi. That keeps me busy enough.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Tom. Again, an enlightening conversation. Everybody head to scalarlight.com and sign up and try it for yourself, and do share.
Thank you.
For everybody who might need this information. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Bravo. Thank you.